frightful, but the fire is so delightful. Since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. It doesn't show signs of stopping, and I brought some corn for popping. The lights are turned way down low. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Welcome back to our final episode of 2024, and it's beginning to look like Christmas in this kitchen. Now, today we're going to be glazing this gorgeous ham that we picked up from our local butcher, and it's going to be an absolutely spectacular one. Well, I'm going to teach you how to make an absolutely gorgeous glaze to go over the top of this, stud it with cloves in the oven, and it won't take long at all. Easy for everybody on Christmas Day, just to slot in the oven and everything's ready to go. So, to get started, what we've got here, I've got some brandy. Now, don't slug the bottle whilst making this ham, or else you're just gonna fall flat on your face. Everyone gets a bit drunk at Christmas, so drink responsibly. We've also got some maple syrup. I've got some beautiful seeded mustard, stout and onion from my good mate Paddy at Kilty's. Now he does a cracker mustard, and this is a whole grain mustard. Also, I've got a little bit of quince paste, which that's going to really sweeten this glaze up and turn it nice and sticky. And to finish off, I've got some Chardonnay vinegar. Now, the first thing we want to do with our ham is we want to get this skin off of it. Now, it can be pretty daunting for some people trying to get the skin off your ham. If you're stuck, get your butcher to do it, get him to score it, and it makes it so much simpler. But what we're going to do to start with is I'm just going to show you how we can do it. Now, if you want to make it easier for yourself, what we can do is we can just score part of it and do it in bits, in stages. So we just want to get our finger just under the skin. You don't want to pull all that fat away from the ham. So you just want to get your finger underneath it and just release it from the skin. You know, Christmas is one of my favourite times of year. Lots of food, lots of drink, family and friends. It really doesn't get much better than that. So we want to give them the best at Christmas. So we're just sliding our finger. As you can see here, we've got our fat still on the ham, and we're just going to keep just running our finger along this rind, and it just peels off so easy. Nothing to be scared about when taking it off your ham at home. So just releasing that skin. I've done part of it, and look how neat that is. Simple and quick. It doesn't have to be a whole day in the kitchen at Christmas. All you need to do is just cook things simple and cook them well. So we've got our first part of the rind off, nice and easy. And we're just going to take the next part off, and then we can get on to the next stage. Alright, now we've got our ham here. All that's left on it is the fat. We've removed our rind, and the next easy part is to score it. So you want a nice sharp knife. Now you don't want to cut right the way through into the ham itself. You only want to score the fat. So we want to make it nice and easy. We're going to make nice squares, which we can stud it with cloves before we get our glaze started. So to get started, we only want to go in about 2 millimeters so we can actually just see the score lines on the ham. So just like so, in a nice crisscross pattern. And we're going to put our cloves in between the lines, in between the squares. And the cloves really give it a beautiful taste when we're cooking it in the oven. And it goes so perfectly with this Christmas glaze. So I've got some cloves here. We've crisscrossed, scored our ham, and we're just going to place the cloves in between the squares. And we just want to make a nice visual pattern across the ham, and it's going to give it so much flavour when we pop it in the oven with our Christmas glaze. So got a few cloves here, just pop that off to the side, and we can start studding our ham. So starting between the squares, we just want to get our cloves in there, and it really does make a big difference when we're roasting this ham. So we're going in between the squares, and it's really quick, it doesn't take long. So we're just putting in the last couple of cloves into our ham. And what a time of year it is to sit around with family, with friends, reflect on the year that you've had, and that, and really just enjoy the celebration and the day. So we put our cloves on there, and the next part's really, really simple. So all we want to do is we want to get these 6 ingredients and grab ourselves a pot. You want a decent sized tray to pop your ham on when it goes in the oven, as you want to keep basting and making this ham nice and sticky as you're cooking it. So we're just going to sit that on the tray, and it can sit over here next to my little Christmas gnome. Now to start this glaze, I've got some quince paste. Now we just want to grab ourselves just a small to medium saucepan, and we want to finely just dice the quince. Now we only want to go into sort of thin slices because we want it to melt. We want it to melt quickly. We don't want it to take forever in the pan because it will go really sticky and can burn. So just taking it into nice manageable pieces. Now some people like to make quince paste at home. Quinces growing in the backyard, chuck them in a pot with a heap of sugar, cook it yourself and that. But for those that don't have that luxury, you can just pick it up from the shop. So we're just gonna chop it into nice manageable squares. Just into little pieces like so. So we've added our quince to the pot. Now I've got some brandy. We don't want to put in too much, but you don't want to skimp either on it. So I'm just gonna add in 2 tablespoons. And that'll help melt the quince once we heat it up. I've also got some Chardonnay vinegar. So we're just gonna add just 1.5 tablespoons of the vinegar. We've got some nice organic maple syrup. Best time of year to have maple syrup. So I'm going 2 tablespoons of maple. And then to finish this glaze off, I've got my mustard from Kilty's. My stout and onion mustard goes absolutely beautiful in this. You can pick it up online, Shopify, and that's kiltys.com.au. So I'm putting in 2 tablespoons of seeded mustard also. So let's get it over on the heat, and we can start melting this down and start preparing to glaze our ham. So now once everything has melted in the pot, our quince paste cubes have melted, and we've got this beautiful, thick, syrupy glaze, which we're gonna smother this ham with, and God, it's gonna be spectacular. So what we can now do is we can just spoon a little bit over the top, and then we'll just brush it in with a pastry brush, just to then get it completely covered right the way across our ham. We want a nice layer all the way over, and then we're going to give it a little bit more whilst we put it in the oven to get really sticky and caramelized on this beautiful ham. So just going to dot some of this glaze around the ham. Everyone at Christmas will really love it. It's one of my favourite glazes to have. Been doing it for years. Now we want to do it nice and gently, get it on there nice and easy, because we don't want to rip those cloves out of the ham either. We want them to just sit there, not move. So let's spread this glaze all over this ham. For those that have, outdoor kitchens, you could whack it in your pizza oven to get nice and sticky and warm, that lovely flavour through it. You can even put it on a smoker if you really wanted to. As long as it's cooking, which we're going to cook at 180 degrees, it doesn't really matter what you cook it in. So I'm just going to finish glazing this. I'm going to pop it in the oven on 180 degrees. And we're going to pop it in there for about 15 minutes. And then we're going to come back, give it some more of this gorgeous glaze, and then we're going to stick it back in the oven for another 15 minutes, and this is going to be ready. So I've got my ham out of the oven. It's starting to look absolutely gorgeous. It's got that nice colour and caramelisation starting to happen on top. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give it its final basting before we get it back in the oven, just to finish off, and it is just about ready to serve. So I'm just going to drizzle this gorgeous glaze over the top again like we did the first time, and we can just paint it over the top of this ham and get it back in the oven about another 15 minutes. So serve this on the Christmas table, fresh seafood. Nothing better. Lots of things you can have with this one, and it's absolutely cracker the next day. The best thing about a beautiful ham like this is the leftovers. What I love to do the next morning is make beautiful ham and cheese croissants with this lovely ham, and it is so delicious. Nothing better than a fresh ham, warm in the morning, fresh croissants, absolutely stunning. That's ready to go back into the oven for another 15 minutes. And this ham will be ready to serve. So I've got my absolutely beautifully cooked Australian free range pork leg ham here. Now it's looking absolutely spectacular. The glaze is beautiful and sticky all the way across that ham. And I tell you what, the family or the friends or whoever you have at Christmas are gonna absolutely adore this recipe. So all we need to do now is transfer it over to a nice plate, and it's ready for carving. So I've got myself a plate here, and I've got chef hands, so I'm just gonna transfer this gorgeous ham over to the plate. So to cap off Season 1 of 2024, I'd like to say thank you to everybody who's got behind us and watched our episodes of Cook It Like Crawley 30-minute meals. It's been an absolute honour to be able to teach people at home how to cook fresh, simple and amazing food. Now, last but not least, we've got to try some of this gorgeous ham with this glaze on it. I'm going to take a little bit off the side there. Look at it. Wow. Absolutely superb. Now, if you like Cook It Like Crawley 30-minute meals, you can go to YouTube, hit the links, go to Cook It Like Crawley and follow it to 30-minute meals. And last but not least, we'd like to wish you all a very Merry Christmas, a safe holidays. If you're traveling, travel safe, and we will see you all in the new year. I'm Chef Liam Crawley, and this is Cook It Like Crawley.